Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favourite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. My guest today can speak from first-hand experience about juggling work and family life and how tricky that can be. So many of us start our own business because we're looking for more flexibility, the opportunity to work from home, do something around the kids, or other personal commitments. And while it's certainly worth it, it's not easy, especially in the first few years of building your business. Now, the pandemic and the years since then have seen the rise of the gig economy, with more and more people turning to side hustles that they could build alongside their work life or their family life. And we're all familiar with companies like Uber, DoorDash, Sidekicker, all great options for making extra money, but not amazing in terms of training and support. So either you go it on your own with your own business or you go it on your own with your side hustle. Until now, Susan Toft is the founder and CEO of award-winning Australian mobile laundry service, The Laundry Lady, and her business model is shaking up the idea of the gig economy. The Laundry Lady is a great solution for those looking to run a business from home or those interested in side hustles with a smooth and simple business model and technology and innovations that can help and support you while scaling your business. With a career spanning corporate marketing, event management, and project management, Susan first launched The Laundry Lady on the Gold Coast in 2012. She has steered the business from $200K revenue to $6 million in the past 4 years, continuing to grow despite cost of living pressures. Laundry Lady now has a team of 300 plus contractors Australia-wide, and in 2023 broke into the New Zealand market too. Susan is a champion for women in the workplace, bringing time and flexibility back to mums, dads, career changers, and more with her innovative and market-leading independent contractor model. Living on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Susan is an active member of the local business community and a member of the Sunshine Coast Business Women's Network. She was also featured on the latest season of Shark Tank Australia, where her vision to tackle the never-ending laundry pile wowed the sharks. She's passionate about connecting people by leveraging technology and AI-driven advancements and created Time Boss, an online marketplace and enterprise planning resource system to power Laundry Lady and other people-focused businesses. I cannot wait to hear more. All of those things are interesting for me, and I know they are for you too. So Susan, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. That's an awesome introduction. If you could just follow me around and intro me like that all the time, that'd be great.
Isn't it funny how we're so in the thick of what we do that we don't often get a chance to sit back and go, oh, hang on a minute, this is what I've done.
Totally.
You honestly, I love that you have taken a business idea, but also really run it with the mindset and the ethics of, I want to take this business model and use it to help people, like not just help the customers, but help the contractors as well. And I think that's why when I first discovered The Laundry Lady, I was so impressed because it really had that even balance of supporting both arms. And you don't see that everywhere in business, do you?
No, that's it. And, that really stemmed from my own experience because I was a new mum. I was working in a corporate career. I was working for Austrade for 8 years and I was traveling all the time, traveling back and forth to Sydney, going international and, exciting career before you have kids. But once you have kids, it's really hard to juggle all of that and be the mum that you want to be as well and be there with your kids, but still, remain true to the fact that you want to work and contribute and all of those things. And so I actually was made redundant from that position and just knew I needed to create something where I could work from home because I needed that flexibility with young kids at home. And so that was really where the idea stemmed from my own experience of just, knowing that I needed that flexibility and also looking at my own laundry pile and thinking about how much I needed help with getting on top of that. And so, I kind of always had this vision right from when I very first started it that I would be bringing that opportunity to other women or mums or anyone who wants, that flexibility. I don't think I'd quite envisioned it would scale as much as it has and as much as we're planning. But, I think at the time I thought I'll get 20 other mums up and running and help them to have this same kind of flexible business. So, yeah, that's really where the whole ideas come from.
It's totally snowballed. It's amazing. And you know what? I can relate so much to that story because my story very much mirrors yours. I was working in corporate. I had some travel to do with my job. I adored my job. I was good at my job. I went on mat leave. Of course, I adore my family as well. But I did 4 years of mat leave in a row. And then I went back to corporate. And the world had changed because I went back as a mother, right? So people assumed I didn't want to travel anymore. And people assumed I didn't want to do all the exciting new projects anymore because I was busy at home with the kids. But they would still roster me on to work 6 weeks in a row from 11 p.m. till 8 p.m., including weekends. And I'm like, what? My kids are in bed when I get home anyway. Why aren't I doing the fun stuff if I'm still, it was one of those things for me. So that's why I left corporate. And my original business was an organizing business. And I remember 2 months in, I left corporate because I wanted more freedom. I wanted to work around the kids. 2 months in, I was burning out. I was like still working more than full-time hours, going and helping other mums organize their homes, and my house was a complete mess. And I was too tired to feed my kids because I didn't have like a structure to follow. I was completely winging it. And you're winging it in gaps of time during the day when you've got young kids at home with you. You don't get 6-7 solid hours of focused work time. So yeah, to hear that background kind of makes me go, wish I had found you 12 years ago myself. It would have made my road a lot smoother.
Totally. Yeah,
Oh,
it's so hard, to make that change when you are a mum and then go and build a business. What a great idea. It's the hardest thing possible. But and that's what we've really, focused very heavily on, is creating an opportunity that's just easy for people to tap into and get up and running really quickly and earning really quickly, and really consistent, regular earnings as well. So that's what our whole model kind of feeds off.
I really love that. Let's talk a little bit about the model too, because I know a lot of our listeners are familiar with the idea of the gig economy because, they hear about Uber Eats, Menulog, that sort of thing. The laundry lady, I thought this was a really interesting take because it's comparable to that sort of thing, but it kind of shakes it up in terms of the traditional view on gig work. So if you were to explain to people, what would you say sets it apart from other opportunities like that?
Yeah, great question. I'm actually going through an investment raise at the moment, and this is the one thing that I'm trying to explain to investors. Just how different we are to those kind of models like Uber and Airtasker and places like that. And the easiest way I've come up with to explain it is that they're a marketplace and we're a market maker. So that means that we actually help our contractors in terms of we train them, we give them support, we are the middleman around complaints, we do all the marketing, we get them all of the bookings, everything is all there ready for them to just get up and get going. And what really makes us different to those models is the recurring nature. So obviously laundry never goes away ever. It just keeps repeating over and over and over. But for our contractors, that's amazing because it means they've got regular customers who are on a recurring. So 80% of our customers are actually on a weekly or fortnightly just recurring service, which means that the contractors are earning very consistent earnings, and they can, plan ahead with their schedule a bit more. So it's not like Uber where you just go, I feel like working today, I'm going to work for a few hours, which, for some people that's great. But for a lot of our contractors, they want to have that consistent earnings because they know they've got to contribute to their family income, and they want to, work it around their school pickup or their sports and all of those sorts of things. So when they have that recurring, regular nature of customers, it can make a big difference for them. So, so I'm always saying it's actually what we are doing is actually not really gig economy, because gig economy means work when you feel like it, get money here and there, whereas what we're offering is much more sustainable recurring income. And our contractors can be earning anywhere between $300 and $3,000 per week, and that really depends on their goals and what they want to do. And so we work really closely with them around their targets to make sure that they're reaching those targets as soon as they can. In some areas they get to that really quickly. If they live in a city area, for example, if they're in a regional area, it might take them a little bit more time to build up to that level. But once they do build to it, then it can be really consistent. And the other great thing about our model is that they can start in that smaller amount. So they can start with just earning, $300 a week and just a couple of jobs on top of whatever else they're doing. And then they can build up and change their mind down the track. And that's what a lot of them do. They'll join us and go, oh, actually, I really like doing this. And I could quit that other thing and I could just do this and replace my income. And, that's a great opportunity, I think, particularly for women who are trying to juggle a lot,
Yeah.
and men as well. We have lots of husband and wife teams and all sorts
Mm.
of things. So,
I really
yeah.
love that idea of the flexibility because that's the downside of going a business all by yourself, right? Is there's really, you want the flexibility, but you have to push yourself to schedule in that buffer time, right? And the first few years of having your own business the traditional way, you're at it 24/7. I love the idea of being able to work with a company where the demand is already there, so you don't have to walk up and down the street and put flyers in letterboxes or, put Facebook posts out saying you're available, because that alone is quite a lot of labor-heavy work, just trying to get your first few clients. And to have be able to do your picking up and dropping off around school hours. That's a really big thing for a lot of us. Not a lot of jobs are school hour friendly. Or, yeah, I can imagine the idea of being able to dip your toe in at the start and just make sure it's a good fit is a really, really appealing way to do it. So, yeah, all of those things sound fantastic to me. And I
Yeah,
think
I think
your
when you
friend,
come from corporate, you often, have jobs that say they're flexible and they fit around your school hours and you can change your hours around all of those things. But actually that's just not what actually happens. And then you have bosses who don't believe in that and can be, horrible to you if you're 5 minutes late and you're like, well, we couldn't get our shoes on this morning. Like, you don't understand the stress of that. So, being able to, and we really, help our contractors to be able to work their schedules around their life. So if they're doing that school run at that particular time of day, do your pickups on the way back, because then you're in the car once instead of multiple times. And so we really work with them to fit around their life.
yeah, I think that's a really nice way to do it. And I think that really needs to be the way going forward in terms of organizations and companies, is that, that craving for flexibility. We all got a taste of it when COVID happened and we had to work from home. And now we know it's possible to work from home. So it's a lot harder for companies to do the old, well, you have to be here in person. But I think just being in charge of your own income and your own labor, but having the structure around you already and the support there already. And if you get stuck and you don't know what to do in a situation, to have somebody to go to when that happens, instead of feeling like you have to wing it and problem solve. And even, with things like Uber and DoorDash and stuff like that, you really are winging it the entire time, aren't you? You're just deciding on a whim to clock in and do some work. And you could be sitting there for ages waiting. Whereas your business model really is a service that's in demand, a service that can be done from home, a service that's not reliant on minute by minute timing. It ticks all the boxes as far as I'm concerned. But I know also you use a fair bit of technology, and technology's played quite a role in the success of the Laundry Lady. I think that would really interest our listeners, how technology applies to your business. So are you happy to share how you've leveraged technology in terms of operations and enhancing customer experience?
Yeah, so technology is very different for us today than what it was 12 years ago when I was the original laundry lady myself. Back then in 2012 when I started, it was just literally a website and my mobile, and that was it. And I would turn some ads on when I needed customers and turn them off when I didn't need any anymore. But as I said, I really always wanted to be able to scale, and I knew that I would need tech to be able to do that, because I knew I wouldn't. There was no way I was going to sit on the phone and answer every call. And so I actually applied for a grant. I got a $5,000 grant back in 2016, and I went off to my designer and I showed him this Uber style design that a system that I wanted to create, and he laughed at me and said, "You've got $5,000. You're not going to get it. That's going to be $100,000 to create that." So,
Oh,
and he said, "Go and find something off the shelf, and we can integrate it into the website." And so I didn't really even know what that meant at that stage, but and going back to 2016, there wasn't a lot of online booking and payment platforms out there that were off the shelf that like there is today. But I went out and I researched, and I found one called Timely, which was created for salons. And I found that it could work and do most of the things that I needed it to do, with my vision to be able to scale. And so with the $5,000 budget, we got it set up and got it integrated into the website, and we're off and running. Got my first contractor on board, and started. But I got divorced, and then I had to return to work full time, and the business sort of took this back seat for a few years and became my side hustle for a few years. But with that tech, we still grew to sort of 12 contractors during that time period while I was working full time and trying to just get it up and running. And then after COVID hit, that was my opportunity to really come back to the business full time and commit to it. And so because we already had that off the shelf system in place, it meant we were ready to just start onboarding contractors and getting them out there and getting them customers. And so with that off the shelf platform, we actually grew the business to 6 million in revenue. So it got us a really long way. But saying that, it also, as we started to scale, became much more problematic, much more challenging. There are a lot of things that it couldn't do. There are a lot of things it couldn't integrate and connect to. Paying our contractors the commissions, for example, would take us 3 full days every single week just to create the reports around that, because we had to do it manually. So we knew we needed to create our own tech, but that's a really hard thing to do for a business. It's expensive. It takes a lot of time. You've got to find the right people to help you. So really, we were probably three years too late than what we should have been to create that tech. But we finally did create it and launched it just at the end of last year. So it's our system that we call Time Boss, so that powers everything in our business. And I guess what the advantage of getting that later in the business life cycle was that I had a lot of years of practice around the customer experience, so I knew exactly what we needed it to do, and that meant we could create it in a way that wasn't going to be wasteful. But we still, had challenges along the way within that, finding the wrong people to create it, and then having to start again, and finally finding a really great developer who work alongside us to create that platform and launching it. And now what I'm really excited about is that it's a platform that will be a great platform for other service-based businesses out there. And so we'll soon be starting to also go down that road and give that opportunity to other industries that want to disrupt and do something similar to our model. So yeah, we're starting to sort of plan around what that looks like as well.
I love that idea, because there'll be countless other service-based businesses that will want the same thing but won't want to go through all those hurdles of trying and testing and tweaking and scaling and having all the challenges that come with growing at the same time. So that's a really nice example of, that sort of abundance in business where you're not going, hey, this is our thing. We're the only one that gets it. We don't want anyone else to use it. It's more like no, this will work for lots of people and grow for everybody, and more growth for everybody is great. So I really like that mindset behind it. So
yeah, absolutely. I think my whole career I've been involved in helping businesses. And so, from when I worked at Bisbee Chamber to when I was working at Austrade. And so, like trying to build a platform that takes you 1 or 2 years to do and hundreds and thousands of dollars, like businesses just don't do it. And that's why they don't scale, because they don't have that tech behind them to be able to do that. So we're really excited to be able to do that in the future as well.
Tech is such a labor-saving device and a time-saving device. I just feel like we're entering into such a beautiful era when it comes to business. And I know some people are like a little bit scared of AI. Oh, this is how Terminator started, blah, blah, blah. I love the flexibility and the innovation you can get with technology that progresses. I am super excited to see where it goes. And do you use it for onboarding contractors and customer service, or just one or the other? How does it work?
Everything. It's our entire business. So it's all of the booking management, all of the location and capacity management, which is quite complex when you have, people in different locations who are working different hours and setting their own hours and all of that. So there's quite advanced technology behind how that works, right through to payments. So we have really sophisticated payment options that integrate into things like NDIS, and NDIS service agreements and all of that sort of automation, which is that's a tough area to try to streamline.
Yeah.
But we've built all of that in there, and then all of our commissions, which is actually nothing out there that can manage commission payments in a percentage structure like we have. There's payroll, but there's not commissions. And then all of the onboarding and recruitment to just really automate and streamline that as much as possible. And then lots of just boss tools as well. Things like we've got energy management tools in there so that our contractors can see exactly how much energy their washing machines are using, and integrations into tax tools and things like that. And we'll be adding so much more around that as well. So that's why we're really out seeking investment at the moment, because we want to just build that to the next level. So that's what we're planning.
Oh, totally worth it. You touched on remote workers. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because that's one of the things I've been wondering is when you're scaling a business, I would think it would be very challenging, especially if your contractors are all around the country, for example. So what were the things, did you have particular challenges with that you needed to implement something to overcome it? Was that something that made a big difference? Because it's not like you have an office full of people and you can just work one-on-one with them. They're literally everywhere. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, so I mean, our whole business is remote. Even our head office team, some of us are remote. So, right from the beginning, that was the goal. And so even before COVID, when Zoom now is obviously much more integrated into society, but before COVID, it wasn't so much. But even back then, it was just very much building the business to be completely online. So we never actually even meet our contractors, at any stage. It's only if I travel for an event that I might go and connect with one and record a video with them, and that's really great because I get to meet them. But we don't really get to have that face to face at all. So everything is within those online tools with like Zoom and things like that, and then also all of our training is online. And so when a contractor onboards with us, they go through a whole training and onboarding program. They have a knowledge base online, all of those kinds of things. And we're starting to build more AI into that now as well, so that can really streamline the support for them so that they can get that support faster and quicker and more effective, because there's some great tools out there that you can just plug into, your chatbots and things like that you can plug into. So we're starting to get some of that set up so that it can support that team even more remotely. But yeah, it's definitely, because you do never get that face to face, and for a lot of our contractors, they're quite happy with that because they just they want to be just working from home and doing their thing and focusing on their own family and life and customers and things like that. And then for others, they do want to be able to, be part of a team. And so we have, team pages in Facebook and things like that as well, so that they can connect when they want to do that as well.
I love that, because for me, technology means freedom and flexibility. Like if I was signing up for something, what if I need to do it while it's late at night because that's when I finally got the kids to bed? Or if I'm doing my training, what if I only have like 20-minute pockets throughout the day where I can focus on something, right? To be able to do everything online. And in terms of affordability, I remember years and years ago, if you wanted to join, a company, you had to think in terms of your travel costs and even just what you were going to wear, your parking. Like, to be able to have support online so that you didn't have to travel and actually get that in person at a big conference or a meeting or a training session in person, that actually has a really big impact on the lives of people who are caring for children and who might be caring for parents or might be working two different jobs. I actually think using the technology wisely like that is one of the most appealing things about your business, is that it's all easy, it's on demand, is how it feels, like Netflix, but for business.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah. I mean, as a mum, like I know I juggle constantly around my kids and you only have these small pockets of time throughout the day. And so to be able to fit your business into that, I think is really great. So, our contractors, the only time thing that they're actually committed to is the schedule that they set up around when they're doing their pickup and delivery times. And then they've got the rest of the day to get their ironing or washing done. And for some of them, that might be they just come home, try and get it done while the kids are at school. For some of them, it might be, well, I just had one the other day telling me that she gets up at 3 o'clock every morning because that's her favorite time of day to iron.
In the
And she
zone.
does her ironing then because, yeah, just peaceful. It can be quite peaceful ironing at that time. I used to always do it at night because I loved watching TV while I was ironing. So, it's great to be able to kind of fit things around your life. And then I think, that's very different to working in corporate where you might have a start and finish time, but it also means it doesn't feel as much like work, I think,
Yeah.
because it's just integrated into everything and getting it done.
Yeah, I'm quite an introvert, so it's very appealing to me that you'd be able to work, first thing in the morning while everyone else is asleep, or last thing at night, or during the day while the kids are napping, right? And you're actually just watching shows at the same time, which I do every day as downtime. Why as well make some money doing it, right? I just feel like,
Exactly. Or
oh,
listening to your podcast. That might be what they're doing as
yeah,
well.
yeah, good idea, everybody. Listen to your favorite podcast while you're ironing. I love that. Well, yeah, I think that's okay. So technology, I love the shareability and the way that you are so open to signing up contractors. I feel like there's not a lot of hurdles in terms of sign up, right? It sounds like it's very, very easy for people to do. Incidentally, do you mind if we tell people who are interested where can they go if they want to sign up and do this for a job? Is that okay?
Yeah, also, yeah, absolutely. So, our contractors just go to our website and there's a join the team page and fill out the interest form on there, and then they'll get sent all the information pack around how they join and what's involved and how our commission structure works and all of those types of things. And yeah, it is very easy. They basically just need public liability insurance. They do need to have NDIS workers clearance, but we have all the links for that so that they can get all of that set up, and register for an ABN if they don't have one already. And then from there, they they pay for a starter kit. So they start with a starter kit, which is $499 and that gives them supplies as well. And then they start their online training, and then we're ready to onboard them. So it's a really simple process, and we've kept that starter kit at a really low price because there are franchise models out there which are hugely expensive to be part
Thousand.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, there's actually one within our industry that's $60,000 to be part of. Now, you will never make that money back. You just won't, and you want to be earning straight away. That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And so that's why we've kept it as a really low startup cost business so that they, can get started easily. And as I said, we do all the marketing, but they can also support that by, within their starter kit, they have magnets for their car. They have brochures that they can hand out to people that they meet and all of those things as well to, support their business in their local area. And just having your magnets on the car, you'd be surprised at
Yeah.
how many people see that. So,
To have
yeah.
that available, because I would have thought, oh, I've got to figure out how to put signage on my car and look into all of that. And NDIS, I wouldn't even know where to start. There's those little, they seem little, but they're big things in terms of support. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And payments, like you wouldn't, I mean, if you're starting a business and you're trying to manage payments, that is really tough. Like it's not as simple as someone just pays by credit card and the money's in your bank. It's a much more complex process. And so, we've made that really simple for our contractors so that they can just tap in and start earning.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so what's next then for Laundry Lady? So once you've, in terms of got the time boss stuff to the next level, are there other things that you're focused on, or is that the main thing right now? What do you see for yourself in the next 12 months or 2 years?
Yeah, so we're raising investment at the moment so that we can just really accelerate our growth. So we're really like there's still so much opportunity just in Australia, New Zealand. We've only just started in. We've got our first 12 contractors set up there, and so just really expanding those markets and bringing lots more people to our team so that they can be part of it, getting them customers, and that's where the investment's really going to help us just accelerate that. And then getting Time Boss really to that next stage so that it can support that scale and growth and bring lots more great tools and things like that to our contractors, improving our customer experience within that as well. And then we'll be looking at international markets, which is really exciting.
Ooh.
So we'll be starting to look at which markets we might go to. We're kind of eyeing off Canada and the US, UK, Japan. They're the four markets that we're sort of looking at the moment, and making our go to market plan, which is exciting for me. Coming from an international marketing background, that's I'm excited to be able to scale our business that way as well. So yeah, lots of exciting things to come.
Ooh.
And I'm pitching Time Boss at South by Southwest in October, and that will really help to kind of bring attention to that part of the business as well. So lots of excitement around that and what that can do for other industries out there.
Yeah, I love that. Nice. That building the awareness is really key, isn't it? Because it's a big world out there and the online space is huge too. So the more awareness you can give, actually, that reminds me, what was it like going on Shark Tank? Were you nervous? Was it?
Oh my goodness, it was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. I was lucky I didn't have too much time to think about it. It was only really literally a few weeks between when I had the crazy idea to apply and when I went on there, which was good because if I'd had a long time to think about it, I would have just been panicking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I was definitely on the day just feeling a little bit like I wanted to vomit and thinking, what was I thinking? And so now, going out and pitching to investor groups and that all of the time, I've really had to kind of get my pitch working really well and learnt how to make that a great pitch. And I say to them, oh, my first pitch was going on Shark Tank, like why not do that on national TV? Crazy in hindsight, but yeah, really it was a fun experience. And actually when the cameras were rolling, I actually, after I finished the actual pitch part and went into questions, I actually just really relaxed because I was just talking about my business and that's what I love. And so I could relax into that and talk about it.
Oh, beautiful. I'm really impressed that you did it. And I'm so excited to see the next level for the laundry lady. And I'm very excited for anybody out there who's listening who thinks, okay, this is the business model for me to have that support and structure built in, to be able to jump in and get started right away with the training. I just think it's a beautiful concept that you've put together. Clearly it's working because people are loving it. And I can't wait to see where it takes you in the next 5 years. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So for anybody listening today who wants to know more from you guys, what's the easiest way to find the Laundry Lady online? Is it website, social media? What do you think is the best way?
Yeah, just head on to our website, laundrylady.com.au. And if you want to make a booking and save yourself some time in your life and get on top of your laundry, then you just type your suburb and you'll see all the laundry ladies and lads that service your area, and leave your laundry at the door and they'll be there to pick it up, which is, I get my ironing done regularly and I can't tell you how much time and stress that saves me to have my clothes just all ready to go in my cupboard, ready to wear. And if you're interested in joining the team, it's the same website, laundrylady.com.au, and click on the join the team and you'll get all that information. And I would love for your listeners to be able to have use our services and have a 20% discount off their first service to try it out. So Marissa24 is the code that you can use, and check it out.
Oh, thank you so much. That's lovely. And you guys do washing and ironing, or washing or ironing, right? So people can choose whatever level they want.
That's right. Yeah. So and for some people, ironing might be it, just to stay on top of that, and you don't have to have a regular booking. If you're getting your ironing done, you might just want to do it, when you're ready, or right through to washing, where you want to have it regularly all of the time. And we have lots of business customers too, like salons and medical clinics and Airbnbs and places like that who have that regular. Yeah, so so we service lots of those types of customers as well.
That is so
Everybody has
clever.
laundry. There is a lot of laundry out there.
Yeah, because one of the things about I wouldn't want to be an Airbnb host because I'd be like, oh, it's so much laundry. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? That's so genius. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we'll make sure we put that discount code in the show notes along with a link to your website. And I'll do some stalking and check out your social medias and link them too, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. We have lots of fun socials. They're very pink. That is our brand color. So it's lots of fun.
Beautiful. I'm so glad you were here today, Susan. I just think this chat is so perfectly timed because I think right now we're in a space where a lot of the people that I see talking online and in person, they're in that real sort of, oh, I feel crammed in my 9 to 5 and I need something new and I don't know where to go sort of feeling. So I think that this solution is really good. But also in terms of customers, for people who are like, oh no, I'm fine on the work side, but I'm struggling with everyday life and I feel like I'm drowning and only just keeping my head above water. Your service is something that I think is going to really free up a lot of physical load, but also mental load in terms of having everything ready to go. So I really love that you're making such a positive difference from both sides of the coin. I don't know if I got that saying right, but you know what I mean, right? It's helping
Yes,
everybody.
totally. Totally. Yes. Our tagline is take a load off your mind, because it is that mental capacity is just, it's so much sometimes. So, and some of our customers then become contractors, some of our contractors then become customers. So, it's really, that works for everybody.
Full circle. Yeah, I love that. Oh, thank you again for being here. And everybody listening, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I've loved having it with Susan. I'll leave all the links in the show notes so you can check out more, and I will see you all in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.